Alpha Phi Alpha Sphinx Talk with Brother Eric Christopher Webb is sponsored by Good Health Wins. For more content, subscribe now.
Welcome to Sphinx Talk. I'm your host, Brother Eric Christopher Webb, and I have a special guest here today, especially for all you gamers out there and anyone that's at an HBCU. I have my fraternity brother, Brother John Cash, and I'm going to talk to you about what Brother Cash does, and you're gonna love all this. So, Brother Cash, welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much, brother. How you doing today?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. So Brother Cash, you launched the first Esports gaming program at an HBCU at Johnson C. Smith. So tell me about that.
Yes, sir. Well, basically, I've been an adjunct professor and now instructor at Johnson C. Smith University. And under my company, the NARMA Group at the time, I was just doing some research on opportunities that could really drive new programming for recruitment, retention, and graduation of JCSU students. So being an old head gamer, old Madden and
Okay.
basically, I just looked at did some research, found out there were over 175 predominantly white institutions. But this is back in 2019.
Okay.
That had some type of esports program. And when we talk esports programs, we're talking about either curriculum, a learning lab where people can play, and or a club team. There were over 175. Guess how many HBCUs at that time? Zero. So with that, one of my lead tenured professors, Dr. Bernadette Lawson-Williams, who's actually a graduate of South Carolina State, Delta, and I worked with her. She was basically my blocking back, helping out with this.
Okay.
And we developed that program. So we launched it in January 2020. And we call it, and she came up with this name, this is good, the trifecta, the esports gaming trifecta. So we bootstrapped a learning lab, developing our club team, getting them together, and then I developed curriculum and started teaching. And one of the other things was to observe and look at other curriculum opportunities. And I'm proud to say, just 4 years later, we're going strong. We just received Title III money because of our results, meaning that we are recruiting, retaining, and graduating students who are interested in the esports industry and or gaining the skills that they can leverage in other industries.
Here at Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina, to check out the first esports gaming program founded at an HBCU. Let's go.
Thank you.
Communication arts. So what do you hope to do once you graduate?
Long term speaking, I hope to one day make my own business, like a production business doing graphics, photography, videography, and audio engineering, stuff like that.
Okay, now does this whole gaming aspect, this whole gaming program piece, are you doing a minor in gaming? Or? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how does the whole gaming piece fall into all that with you? Do you think you're gonna that experience is going to some way be worthwhile and connect to what you want to do?
Yeah. So how we do it is sometimes when we go to different events, different tournaments, sometimes we get to see the behind the scenes aspects, like the audio engineering aspects and the graphics, graphic marketing and stuff like that.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
And in addition to that, now I'm in a different role as instructor. I heard that was a better name than adjunct professor.
And I've done the adjunct job, so I understand, right?
So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. And again, I'm HBCU for life. I'm a Howard University undergraduate. And actually, when I moved here from Atlanta to Charlotte, a lot of cats were on me like, man, you need to share some of this knowledge of other things you're doing. And that's what inspired me to really do what we do, is what? Service to all, right? So that's one of the ways that I provide my service.
So, what does this esport gaming program look like? So, do I get it as a freshman coming in? I'm a freshman. Let's say I'm a freshman attending Johnson C. Smith. Is this a part of a specific? Where does this fall in the degree program?
Sure. Of course, we crawl, walk, ran with our curriculum. So for the first couple of years, we had a few curriculum classes as well as immersion internships. You may not know this is pretty interesting. Out of the 32 NBA teams, 20 of them have an esports team. That's really, that's made up of usually 18 to 24-year-old passionate folks who actually compete, and they get drafted to one of these teams.
You know taking threes ain't your game. You can't shoot. You're trying to get out of body. That's you.
Let's go, bro.
I told them to you up. What I know? What I just know? Yeah! You a liability! You a liability! Stay home! Stay home!
Charlotte happens to have a team. So the Charlotte Hornets esports team is called the Hornets Venom. The reason why I bring that up is now I'm able to cross-pollinate training and learning opportunities, so my students are interning with both organizations.
Wow.
But in regards to, again, how we built it, some initial curriculum, but internships, like I just mentioned with the Hornets Venom, then we were able to show success, and we applied for Title III dollars. I couldn't even count the Title III last year this time.
Right.
But Title III dollars is a program that was actually developed under the President Kennedy administration. It is an opportunity for universities to leverage federal funds for programs that are specifically focused primarily on retention and recruitment, retention, and graduation of students with new programs. So that and developed that program. We developed an interdisciplinary studies program, and now we have a minor program, the first HBCU to have a minor program and an integrated interdisciplinary program. So that was our graduation over the 4 years.
Now, is this under the business department or technology? Where does this fall?
It falls under basically, it's kind of weird where it falls under, but it's falling under the sports management programs now and human services program right now. That's where it lives. But we have great relationships within the computer engineering school as well as the business school. Because again, with the interdisciplinary, if you're a marketer, you can have a career. There are over 150 careers in esports and gaming. Not all STEM related, a lot of them are.
Let's talk about those for a second. Hey,
sure.
tell me about this.
Sure, so within the STEM field, the core essence of esports gaming would be game design and development. Why?
Okay.
Because you can't play nothing, you can't sell nothing until you build something.
Right.
It's like building the engine of the car. You don't have the engine, the car's not gonna run. Game design, game development, right now, approximately less than 2% of African Americans have a career in game design, game development. But 82% of African Americans, 18 to 24, are gaming on a weekly basis versus 73% of general market. Yet we make up less than 4% of the industry and less than 2% of game development and design. So again, what are we doing? We're over-consuming as a people, and we have no say or very little influence in the direction of the industry. So that's the first piece. Game design, game development is a core opportunity, and that programming. We can actually take you through courses. There are courses out there, and we're developing ours for game design, game development. In 20 weeks, you would be prepared to take Unity testing and put yourself in a situation where you can go out in the market and get a job in game design, game development. Then we have other areas. Of course, programming is one, graphic designs, CAD designs, artistic designs, and then also what they call shoutcasting. In this type of environment where you have usual sportcasters, Steve Smith is a pretty good shoutcaster, you would think, but think about the people that do the color and play-by-play for basketball.
So you have the color and play-by-play for the gaming industry?
Yes. At Industries, they have that, and so you could get into coloring play-by-play play-by-play,
Well, actually, the casting's the really easy side. The vast majority of the work that you do as a caster is the preparation to get here in the first place.
Yesterday, the three of us actually just met up in a hotel room, talked about the match for about 4 hours. We kind of already discussed the major points that we wouldn't want to miss talking about.
We get these guys to bring us all kinds of statistics out that'll take them hours, and we might use one statistic that's, relevant for maybe 20 seconds during the games. While we do a lot of work, there's definitely a big part of the team in the background as well, helping us to get where we are.
As far as getting energy for the game, that comes pretty naturally.
Every hook, like I said, heat-seeking coming out of Mata. What can they ban? What can they do? TSM has to think about game 2 already. 27 minutes in, the double kill for him. 12-3, and game 1 is over in favor of Samsung White.
And let's think about it. Operations, videography, similar to what we're doing here. All parts of the industry. Now that's STEM, a lot of that is STEM related. But then you have just the practical pieces. You still need marketing, sales, HR within these corporations, and more to come. And now with generative AI, blockchain technology, AR, XR, and VR technologies, it's just going to continue to graduate gaming as we.
So with the range of these jobs, entry-level job would be what, and what would the salary be?
Well, as
And like game, let's say game design.
Yeah, game design, game development, you're 6 figures.
Entry level.
Yes.
6 figures.
I'll be conservative, 80 and up.
80 and up. And then what is the max you think you can earn?
Well, what success would really look like that I would like to share with viewers or the parents of viewers is that we want to own our own game development initiatives, to own companies where we can develop our own gaming initiatives. But as far as how high is up, I would say 150, 200, but the script is not dry on that because, quite frankly, esports and gaming is really, as it is known right now, esports and gaming is really 15 years old when we're talking about esports. And for those of you who don't know, esports just stands for electronic sports. What is electronic sports? It's competitive gaming. So when we talk about NBA 2K, when we talk about Call of Duty, those are competitive gamings where you can have one-on-one, two-on-two, whatever. Gaming could be everything from mom playing Candy Crush while she's waiting for her kids, or playing on video games like we played in the past. And the gaming industry is a lot older than people think. I mean, it's even older than Pong. And I know
we're dating each other because we both remember Pong.
Pong is, but
Boom,
even
boom, boom.
before
Right.
Pong, there was gaming, just like AI. People think AI just came around in the last 2 years. AI has been around for over 50 years. It's just we've caught up with the technology and can apply the technology. People need to remember that technology basically doubles every 18 months, and it's accelerating. So same thing with this industry. I'm just ready for AR, XR, VR, and what you see with the Google headsets now with Meta. Think about what Meta has done, real quick. People were poo-pooing on Zuckerberg and Meta 2.5 years ago. The stock was in the tank. Look at it now. Look at what he's doing now.
Wow.
So again, those are some of the opportunities, and the money will follow because in this new era that we're in, people feel that we're going to have even more time for leisure. That AI, and who knows what AI is really going to bring, but I look at it as a dual-edged sword. But as a people, we need to not shy away from technology. Or something that's new. Don't fear. Why do we fear something? Why do you fear?
Because it's unknown.
It's unknown.
It makes you feel uncomfortable.
But once you
especially
take
if there's a
away the
loss of
covers,
capacity. Especially if there's a loss of capacity and you don't know and you don't have any skills.
Correct.
Right.
And so the thing is to get the skills. And I will be the first one to tell you that college is not the only route to get your skills in technology, in esports and gaming. But the value of college is still appreciated. Now, again, you'll have different pundits to that. But again, I, like I said before, I'm HBCU for life. My goal is to look at new opportunities to empower our students and drive revenue stream opportunities for the universities.
So now you established this, was it 4 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 4 years ago, now fast forward, it's 24 now. How many other gaming programs out there at schools?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. So again, we did our research 2019, launched our program in 2020, and people are probably like, how the hell he launched that so fast? Johnson C. Smith University is a private institution. It's quicker and easier to get programs developed and curriculum developed than state institutions.
State institutions,
State
right.
institutions, you got to go through what? That key word.
State, the state,
which means
government.
what? Government.
Government.
So anytime you think about government, you go from a Ferrari to a Volkswagen. So for us, we launched it in January 2020, but by the fall of 2022, approximately 67 of the 102 HBCUs had some type of esports initiative, whether primarily club teams, some with learning labs, and then some are working on minor, major, or interdisciplinary programs.
What has this new program, your program, done for admissions and enrollment?
Well, we're up. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we were able to secure Title III dollars for 5 years. So our enrollment, and this is really a wild piece. I actually had students from other universities, a total probably of 7 over the past 3 years, that came to JCSU because of our esports program. I didn't know how to address that. I would give that to Dr. Lawson Williams, let her manage it. But people would call it poaching, but you got to go out to poach somebody.
Right.
They were
They're
calling
coming.
me.
Right.
And the funny part is now, the majority of those schools that students called me about, they have some type of program. They at least have a club team. Because that's what students are looking for. Esports and gaming provides another aspect of community. Just like when we were in school, student affairs had different things. You have all your intramural activities, you have your Greek life activities, you have your clubs, various clubs of majors.
Right.
Esports gaming is another connective tissue to develop community, camaraderie, and lifelong relationships like we do at our HBCUs.
That's amazing. So, so Johnson C. Smith now has a team as well, a gaming team?
We have a few teams.
A few teams. Now how's this? I'm not a gamer. Yeah. That's how I graduated on time, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. That's how I graduated on time. I wasn't a gamer, and I didn't play spades. Even though I knew how to play, I didn't play spades because you have. I was already in the frat, so I had enough vices there. So I was already in the frat, committed to service at New Chapter, Lincoln University. Right. Shout out to the first HBCU, and so I never played game. I'd come in and the guys would be in the room, they'd be playing spades or they'd be playing Madden, and I was like, I'd wave and say, "What's up, the brothers?" All right, I'm out. I gotta go. I gotta study because so I don't know that much about gaming. So tell me about your gaming teams. How are they broken up?
Sure, it's really driven on passion of the students. So right now we have NBA 2K team. We just had the first ever Johnson C. Smith Livingstone College Classic. I got to give that a shout out. Why?
Wow.
Because we were the first 2 HBCUs to play a football game. Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone College, 137 years ago. It took 2 days for the JCSU team to take horse-driven carriages up to Livingstone College in Salisbury, which is about an hour, a little bit over an hour and a half away, and played the game. But our students, and it was fabulous. They played NBA 2K Blacktop. This was just a week ago Wednesday. But in addition, we have Call of Duty teams. We have a Valorant team, which is under Riot Games, and I'll tell you a quick story about that.
Okay.
And then we also have Rocket League. Valorant. Why is Valorant relevant? 3 years ago, I developed a relationship with Riot Games, arguably one of the top 5 game makers in the world, owned by Tencent, which is a foreign-owned company. Riot Games manufacture League of Legends, other different games that we don't play as much as a people. Because remember, when we were growing up, we didn't have as many computers as regular households, right? What did we have? We had PlayStation. Mm-hmm. We had Segas. We had others.
Right.
So we gravitated to those games versus others. Riot Games said, hey, can you help us drive?
So these are PC-based games?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There you go. There you go.
I know.
Really quick shout out before I go any further. Jerry Lawson, everybody. Again, black culture impacts life. Black culture runs everything. Jerry Lawson, brother, black man from Queens, New Jersey. He basically was a self-taught electrician, worked in Silicon Valley in the 60s and 70s, and came up with the cartridge system that we use for Nintendo and a lot of the first games. He should have died a multi-billionaire because of what he developed. Everybody look him up, Jerry Lawson. He died at about 70 years old in Atlanta, Georgia, several years ago. He has a daughter and a son that live in Seattle, and we're looking at doing some work with them.
And that's definitely a little-known Black history fact.
So that's a little-known Black history fact all day, every day. But to get back to the team, so driven by the students, and I'm proud to say that our students took a chance and they started playing Valorant, and we have a Valorant team that's almost as popular as our Call of Duty team. So we have about 4 teams right now because we have students that play in various leagues. And of course, I got to give a shout out to the HBCU Esports League, which is actually founded by a brother, Ryan Johnson. Community, which is an organization that empowers HBCU students and their lifestyle.
And you have a role within community.
Yes, I met Ryan back in 2019 or so.
And that's community folks with an X,
yes,
right?
Community with an X is spelled CXMMUNITY. Why in the world did you have Community X? What does that mean? First of all, it's pronounced community. The X is the only character that you'll find on your keyboard and on your controller. So when Ryan and his co-founders, Chris P.A. and Julian Fitzgerald, were putting it together, they wanted to make sure it's inclusive. Because unfortunately, within the esports gaming industry, there is a lot of racism, sexism, anti-LGBTQ going on. That's like a culture. You know, when you get behind the screen, some people are 8 feet tall and 300 pounds.
And let me pause there for a quick second. Ryan, so the founders of Community, are they both members of Alpha Phi Alpha, or
No.
one of them is, right? And that's Ryan Johnson is a brother and a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Okay, great.
Right. He's out of the A, and so we met, and Ryan and his team, they just moved forward with initiative. I tried to assist where I could because, again, I was building Johnson C. Smith's program.
Right.
So it was kind of mutually beneficial. And so when they built the league, of course, JCSU was an inaugural member of the league, and they've gone on to do great things. And now you have community media, which invests in media, digital media, HBCU Esports League, and you have Gaming Community Co., or think about that as the community foundation side, non-for-profit, which is where I support.
Now, you just made a comment prior, before I interrupted you, and I apologize. You were talking about discrimination.
Yes.
Against the LGBTQ community and African and racism in general, blacks. Tell me about that. Why is that the case?
Unfortunately, in our society, you just have people that still have, for whatever reason, we put blessings on them, right? We don't judge because we all fall less than our Lord and Savior. But unfortunately, there is a lot of racism, sexism, anti-LGBTQ initiatives out there, and who knows why? I mean, you know, look at the state of our country, look at the state of our world. That's a whole nother story. But we wanted to at least, and don't get me wrong, I don't want everybody to think, oh my gosh, if my son or daughter plays, they're going to be, you know, go through this. It's not everything.
Right.
But we always wanted, it was Ryan and the team's goal, to always at least have a safe haven, because they can police that. Of course, you guys have heard of Discord, and you heard of all the other ways we can play. Mm-hmm. So if people get out of line, you just X them out, right? So we can control that environment so people will have great gameplay. And you have to really look at the resilience of our youth. The students in my class and then others I talk to, I'm like, how do y'all deal with this? It's like, they grew up with it. So they have a strong, you know, it goes off their shoulders. And the thing is, they're like, well, you know, Professor Cash, when we kick their butts, you know, they don't have anything to say anyway. And I'm so proud to say, and I'm not saying these schools are racist or anything, but our JCSU teams have beat major D1 schools, Michigan State, UNC, other schools out there, Virginia Tech. And all I'm saying is that esports and gaming is a great equalizer. You don't have to be 6'2", 190 pounds and run a 4.2 to be good in esports gaming. Like anything else, you have to practice at it and everything, but that's the opportunity. So yes, I feel that the industry is doing a better job of policing itself, especially, unfortunately, it had to take George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, other situations like that, for wake-up calls to come. But I do feel that the industry is policing itself better. And I'll give you a fabulous example today. I got to give a shout-out to my friend and associate Chris Turner out of Southern University.
Okay.
Young cat doing great things in esports and gaming at the younger age, as well as within his legal school. Mm-hmm. But he called me today. One of the premier collegiate esports programs is at Boise State University. They have started—
In Idaho?
Yes.
Okay.
They have started an initiative to drive more discussions around inclusion within esports and gaming.
Okay.
Last year they had a first conference to that point. Chris called me up today because he's like, Cash, you need to be engaged with this. The next one is going to be this July. And it's not to sit on a panel and talk, because I'm tired of sitting on panels and talking. I want to have action behind it. The fact that you have one of the #1 programs in the country that say, hey, I want to get on board and let's make this inclusive and let's talk and think about how we engage people better so everybody gets to eat at the table. You don't have to eat at the little kids' table for Thanksgiving. We all need to be at the Thanksgiving table. So I'm really excited about that. And what's driving that? The colleges. But I feel the organizations and the companies will also follow suit.
So with the whole gaming piece, and we talked about earnings or whatnot, so I talked about the game design. What about the gamers themselves? I know that I've heard that they're making huge amounts of money at a young age,
Yes.
right? So tell me about that.
There's two routes that's going. First of all, it was the gamers themselves just playing, and then they develop followers on Twitch, on YouTube, on whatever platforms they are. But now what you see, and I think I want to get this out so I don't forget about it, is content creation. One form of content creation is esports and gaming, right?
Right.
People watching people game. You know another big one? I just
What's
gotta
that?
throw it out here.
Go ahead.
Women doing hair, especially black women. Black women run the world anyway. My wife showed me on YouTube and all these things, women making all this money. But this is how you do this hairstyle.
Teaching,
this how-
yeah, tutorials.
Yes, tutorials.
Okay.
So I share that with everybody. Pursue your passion and make your passion your purpose and drive your profit.
So there's a lot of gaming tutorials
So
out
gaming,
there.
you can do gaming tutorials. Gamers are out there, but what they're doing also is content creation. Kai Siet, I'll just leave it out there because you either know him or you don't. This cat is making loads of money on Twitch platforms. If you look on the cover of Time magazine last week, you have one of the more popular gamers who's now also a content creator, and the name just slipped me, but he's out there also. So yes, they're playing, they build followings, people follow them, they provide content, and we do a similar type of concept with community with our gaming and social content development. But anybody can do that. So that's one version. Again,
Okay.
Become a gamer, build your following up, have a personality, go out there and play and game. And I'll give you an example how young it could start. This is really something. This isn't the only time either. But a couple of years ago, I had a call. People call me out of the blue sometime. This young lady, I'm not going to name the city, but somewhere in South Carolina, called me.
Okay.
It was a mom. Yes, I heard you were doing all this stuff with HBCU gaming, da-da-da. I want to talk to you about my son. He's 15 years old, and he goes to private school, and he games a lot, and people say he's good. But I'm concerned is he's doing it too much because he's talking about he wants to go to school to learn how to game and do this. And I'm like listening to that. And yeah, everybody's calling him saying it's good. And then we had this one company called FaZe Clan. Ding, 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 ding. FaZe Clan is one of the top gaming enterprises organizations in the world. They have a very urban theme, been very successful. They were on the cover of Sports Illustrated with Kyler Murray and Bronny James about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Look it up. But this young man, 15 years old, he was invited out by FaZe Clan for, I forgot his game that he played. I think it was Fortnite. He's a Fortnite player. Long story short, he made $27,000 in 1 year just gaming as a young man.
How much?
$27,000.
Wow.
And he wasn't doing it like day, night, weekends. He was
And
doing
he's
it
15 years old?
15.
I was cutting grass, making $10 or shoveling snow.
He was giving his mom money.
Making nothing.
He was giving his mom money, but the mom is like, are there any HBCUs that offer scholarships? Because we have all these PWIs that are asking, that are offering him scholarships. I said, you have to follow the money. Well, what about if he gets into gaming in colleges? Let him pursue his passion. When he gets to school, I'm sure he's going to focus because very intelligent young cat. Private school, 15 years old, doing his thing, not having a problem. He'll assimilate well. There's hundreds of stories of that out there. So I share that for the parents. Don't just poo-poo on their dreams, like you wouldn't want anybody to poo-poo on your dreams. Do your job and parent, observe, be there for them, but get the whole picture. Call somebody like me. Call somebody like that community. We'll share with you. We have K through 12 and HBCU initiatives.
Now, are you on the gaming team as well? One of the gaming teams?
I'm on the fighting game team, so I do like Brawl, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and kind of FPS as well. But the only FPS game that I'm really big in right now is this game called The Fight.
Okay, and FPS is first-person shooting? Yeah. Okay. I do know a little bit of something. Good. All right, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, now, are you on the gaming team? Which gaming team?
The fighting gaming team, the FPS gaming team, like Tekken, Brawl, Mortal Kombat,
Okay.
Valorant, and Overwatch too.
Okay, so how have you been doing in your competition? What's your personal ranking? You have like a personal ranking or anything like that? You guys rank nationally or have any kind of ranking yet?
Right now, we're really just kind of starting to build it right now.
Okay, okay. So how much time do you spend a day gaming?
So how it is for me, my classes normally end like really early in the day, so usually I'm here for the rest of the day. But most times, I'll say about like probably half the day gaming. Yeah.
Wow. So how do your parents feel? First of all, how do your parents feel about all this?
I mean, as long as I'm keeping up with my studies, they don't really care.
Okay. That's great. Well, thanks again, man.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Good luck. Wow, that is incredible. Now, let me ask you. First of all, I didn't even find out, where were you made a brother? Where were you made a member of Alpha Alpha?
Gamma Xi Lambda, University of Minnesota.
Okay.
95.
Okay. That's great. That's amazing. So,
And got to give a shout out to Beta Nu Lambda here, doing fabulous things in the Queen City. Protectors of the Queen City. Brothers here at Beta Nu Lambda. President right now, Brother Ron Wages.
Okay.
He's a DMV cat. We're both from the DMV. Went to University of Maryland undergrad. That's where he pledged.
okay.
Got to give that shout out.
No, that's great. So let's talk really quickly about your journey. You're a military veteran.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your whole journey in life and how you got to where you are, how you ended up at Johnson C. Smith prior to that.
Sure.
Talk about your journey a little bit.
I'll try to do that in a 3-minute diatribe. So, grew up in D.C. off of B Street, lived in Prince George's County, graduated there, and started looking at schools. I was recruited a little bit, D1s and some HBCUs. First campus I hit was what? Howard. Howard University. But I visited probably.
And you played what sport?
Track.
Track?
Primarily,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But I visited other schools, and you visit University of Maryland, Bowie State, USC actually, out in California. And again, I was looking at partial scholarships at the time. But enjoyed the journey, but as a 17-year-old hitting Howard, and not just the facade of, not the facade, but the initial hit of Howard, it was just a sense of belonging.
Right.
A sense of the history. And long story short, I ended up going there. Meeting people like Vernon Jordan, who's walking the campus one day, or Stokely Carmichael just hanging out one day. This became commonplace, but you appreciate it so much more now than then.
Who at once Stokely Carmichael at once upon a time attempted to become a member of Alpha Alpha.
Okay, all right, historical purpose there. But I don't throw those names out to just throw them out. I throw them out because as a 17 through 21-year-old, history's rarely historic when you're in the middle of it. And that's what it was with my journey at Howard. So I adored it. I got a scholarship for the Air Force ROTC.
Okay.
And that's how I finished school and become an officer. And people were like, okay, why are you going to serve the man, yada, yada. My thing is you can either be part of the solution or part of the problem. I've always had a servant mentality going back to Maryland National Capital Basketball. We basically helped develop the Midnight Basketball League. Why is that important? Because at that time, when we developed that program, it was to try to fight or combat the rise of crack cocaine. Crack cocaine came through D.C. like a tsunami in the late. You from Baltimore.
Yeah. But I'm familiar. That was the whole Rayful Edmonds era.
Well, that cat used to play at my rival high school.
Wow.
So you had the John Turner situation, Alonzo Mourning,
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
things that people in the DMV know about.
Right.
Long story short, the Midnight Basketball League was a vehicle to try to keep our young folks off the streets and into something constructive. We get them to the community center. Glenard Community Center is where it was launched and where I worked as a high schooler and then in college. But in addition to that, we would have recruiters there. We would have trade school people there. We would have community college people there to show people there are other ways. But to get back on my journey, but that's part of the servant mentality I had. So that servant mentality to community also went to my country. And my thing is, I have to at least try and do this. And at least said I tried to make a difference and do the right thing. And so I love my service. I actually was the first African American to be selected and go through combat control training.
Okay.
In about 4 years. There was a lull, but unfortunately I had already sustained injury. I shattered my leg and busted my rotor cuff, so they wouldn't qualify me to move forward with the program. I went back, got out, and decided to go, what do I want to do? Get a law degree, get an MBA. Back then it was like, got to get an advanced degree for this.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not really a lawyer. But the MBA appealed to me because business appealed to me. And the goal is, how can I go somewhere and learn about business and grow business with somebody else's money? So my thing is to get my MBA and then work corporate. And I'm very thankful for that. The GI Bill helped with that. Consortium for Graduate Management for Study. If people, I'm just showing those out there. There's money out there for grad school. I was living life better then than now. Ask my wife. That's where I met her in grad school.
Okay.
And so I worked corporate for about 15 years. Companies like General Mills and brand marketing, Coca-Cola brand marketing, even Bank of America, and doing multicultural marketing. Loved doing that and continued doing that, and then got into sports entertainment, which is one of the things I like. And one of the things I will share is what I call the convergence of sports, entertainment, and esports.
Okay.
When you look at everything right now, it's all interconnected. All those three areas. So I'm just going to put a pin in it there. People can research that for themselves. I'll continue and wrap up my story real quick. So did sports entertainment, launched the first collegiate sports programs for Learfield IMG with the MEAC conference, which Howard University, Morgan State are members of. Did the same thing for Van Wagner Collegiate Sports Entertainment for the CIAA. And of course, the CIAA tournament is going on right now in Baltimore. Why is that important? Because the majority of the funding for leagues, conferences, come from sponsorships. So the Power Five, if I tell you about the Power Five, do you know how much money University of Alabama, University of Georgia makes from sponsorships through Learfield? Millions and millions and millions. But what does that do? That helps not only the basketball and football team, but that helps subsidize women's basketball, gymnastics, softball. So that's why that's very major. And I share that because our HBCUs need other revenue streams to keep them solvent. I'm very thankful for what Deion Sanders did at Jackson State.
Right.
Regardless of whatever, I wasn't the mouse on the floor.
That's better. What he did is better than giving to the school, giving a donation.
When you're thinking about everything, Good Morning America, all of the revenue there. And so I'm just thinking about other revenue streams that help HBCUs. Then I had to deal with, and I'll keep it real for everybody because we all go through everything. I had to caregive for my parents. I moved from Atlanta to Charlotte with a new corporation, but lo and behold, my mom's dementia accelerated into Alzheimer's disease.
I dealt with the same thing with my mother.
And my father had congestive heart failure. Holla to Allen University, Gamma chapter. My father was president there in the 50s, late 50s.
Wow. Okay.
So ended up caregiving with them here in Charlotte. Very thankful for my brother and sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is third generation Charlottean. I share this because I had to pivot with my career. That's when I launched the NARMA group. That's when I started teaching more. And that's when I saw the opportunities in esports and gaming and made that pivot. And to this day right now, unfortunately, I lost my father, congestive heart failure, last April. The brothers at Beta Nu Lambda did a fabulous Omega service. Shout out to you, brothers. Again, I'm very appreciative. My mom, she lives with my brother and sister-in-law. And then my wife had multiple myeloma. And then lastly, and she's 5-year recovered. And then lastly, prostate. I had prostate cancer. I was a Gleason 9, so you guys can look that up, basically stage 3-4. God keeps me here, so there's more work for me to do. I share that story because we don't share it enough. We had to have Prince Charles, Dexter King, and the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, highlight what? Prostate cancer. It over-indexes in black men because of a gene trait. Latino, black men, Native Americans over-index. Get yourself checked. If not for yourself, for your family. So with that, my journey continued to doing what I'm doing now, the NARMA group, community, and then also JCSU. And I'm very thankful for that opportunity. and seeing what God has for us next. Like I said, technology changes every 18 months, so just trying to keep up with it.
So what's next for you? What's next for you, John?
What's next for me is what God has in plan. My goal is to continue in the sports entertainment esports track. I, again, see that convergence going on, so I think with the experience I have, I can leverage that to show what success can look like for corporations or within the agency industry, or with what we do with community. I think the brothers have done a fabulous job of building community media in what they're doing, and we have established the foundation. Now, foundations are difficult. That means non-for-profit, that's money, grants, donations, scholarships. So we have opportunities for growth there. So what's next for me is to keep building that way, for JCSU to mature that program. And some of the things I'm doing to help out also is with the United Negro College Fund. I'm very excited about this program. Back during the Obama administration in 2012, United Negro College Fund, UNCF, initiated a program called UNCF Tech Summit. And basically the opportunity is to get HBCU students out to Silicon Valley, meet with industry leaders, drive opportunities for education and careers. So now, for the first time, they're partnering with us at Community, as well as an organization called Black Voices in Gaming. Black Voices in Gaming is a non-for-profit in the Bay Area, run by stellar brothers who are doing things in game design and game development. Their non-for-profit is to, again, amplify the opportunities for African Americans in game design and game development. So that's the next thing.
So you've been doing this, you established the program 4 years ago. Yeah. So you've gotten a cycle, we've had some graduates,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So have any of your graduates skyrocketed into the arena, into the field yet? Yeah. Or is it still too soon? They're still grinding out there.
Yeah, they're still grinding. We have a couple. So this is a good story because these are the type of things that I think impress employers. So I actually had the humble opportunity that 5 of my students interned with Riot Games. I told you about the relationship with Riot Games. I helped them, they helped me. 5 of my students interned during the pandemic. Now, they couldn't go out to sunny Santa Monica where the headquarters is, but they had nice 12-week internships where they got paid. And they had opportunities afterwards. But 2 of my students, both software engineers, I think because of that type of experience helped them, and they're both now business analysts with Bank of America here in Charlotte. One of them is a brother. And then we have 2 others that have gone on to other areas. But we continue with the internships and opportunities. Again, it's been 4 years, so we haven't had a total class matriculate yet. It'll be another year before that because these gentlemen were already in their junior years when they started. But we're looking forward to it. And I will be remiss if I say it's just about esports and gaming. It's not. It's about all tech. So everybody out there, whatever that opportunity looks like, I know I have brothers and sisters out there that are kicking it in AI, right? I know I have brothers and sisters out there leveraging blockchain technology. I mean, even I have one brother I know that's at Coinbase with crypto. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not espousing that. Right. But we need to keep ourselves open and not fear and just understand. And just not just technology, but whatever that passion opportunity is that we can really grow in. And we need to think global. You know, think global, act local. I'm very excited. This is one thing I'll share, and this could be the last one. Okay. About 2 weeks ago, one of our professors, provost, his name is Professor Tham, and Professor Chum, excuse me. He is a professor from Africa, but he knows and has relationships in Africa. We had the pleasure of meeting the NBA Africa president. He came and
he's a member of the fraternity. NBA Africa is, I believe, the president of NBA Africa.
He went to UDC undergrad.
I'm not sure, but I remember when NBA Africa became a thing. And I remember, this is like, when did it start?
Well, this cat that just came, Amadou is his name. He's 6'8", went to University District of Columbia, played in the NBA for 12 years. Last with
I think
Dallas
this
Mavericks.
if this is the same organization, I think he's a member
Yeah,
of the fraternity.
NBA Africa has 12 teams. President Obama was one of the strategic partners in it.
Right? Yeah, I think he's a member of the fraternity. I remember something being posted about it. I think it was a news article with NBA Africa. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to claim somebody that's not a brother, but I'm almost positive that he is.
Okay.
But that's a small world.
I'm going to be typing very quickly, but just dig this. NBA Africa, NBA 2K. Exchange student opportunities with NBA, with students in Africa, coming to the U.S., coming to our HBCUs, going back. And then we have the 2K component, pushing education, pushing gameplay, pushing what? Community within the African diaspora. And I'll give you another piece that I'm excited about. Hopefully somebody will register with this. I have 3 opportunities I'm working on now within the Caribbean: Barbados, Bahamas, and U.S. Virgin Islands. The U.S. Virgin Islands just called me on the way up here today. They couldn't get the Microsoft Teams correct. I'm talking to them Monday.
Right.
Why am I sharing this? Because it's much bigger than John Cash, always bigger than John Cash.
Wow.
One thing that I see as clear as day, if nothing else, with my vision, is empowerment through my people through unity. As the tide comes in, all ships rise. And so this is an opportunity that everybody can play a part on. The last thing I'll say about Sub-Saharan Africa, and I'm not discounting my U.S. brothers and sisters at all, but you know that the youngest population in the world is Sub-Saharan Africa, at the average age under 25.
Wow.
So I'll leave
Didn't know that. Well, this is incredible. Thank you so much for taking time out to come talk with us on Sphinx Talk. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Brother John
Webb.
Cash, thank you. We're out.
Thank you for watching Sphinx TV. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe now for more content from the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha. 06.